Hey guys, okay, so in this one we are going to talk about comparing fractions instead of looking or focusing, not necessarily having, let me say that over again. We're going to look at comparing fractions, but this time what's going to be different about this is that they are going to not have common denominators. Instead, they're going to have common numerators. So therefore, we have to understand what does the denominator mean? What does that tell us, okay? I'm going to use this tool again like we used in the last video. This is what's going to, remember that down there, you can do fractional bars or you can do circles. I'm going to use fractional bars. I'm going to stick with the denominator of, let's see, the first one I'm going to use force, okay. Remember, we're going to do common numerators, so they're going to have the same numerators. I'm going to use my filling tool, and this time I'm going to fill in 2 force. Okay, I'm going to create another fraction. Again, the denominator is not going to be the same, so I'm going to use 6 here. What will be the same is my numerator, so I'm going to line these up, because remember, both are still representing a whole. It's just the amount of pieces, the denominators are going to be different this time. So if I have 2, remember, common numerators. I'm going to go over here and use this tab that labels my fractions. If you look at the fractions I've given you, you have 2 fourths, 2 sixths. You'll notice that they do have common numerators. That means that the number of shaded pieces are going to be the same for both fractions. However, if you look at the denominators and their fractional size pieces that make a whole, those are not the same. So if you look at force, there's something you notice about those force. Those fractional size pieces for force compared to the fractional size pieces for 6. And if you said that they are greater, you are correct. Looking at the force, you can see that those force are much bigger pieces. So looking at the 6, again, you can see that those 6 are smaller pieces. They're smaller fractional size pieces. So then we can take this and we're going to go to our drawing tool, and I am going to write out my fractions. What do I know? Oop, it took my labels away. Let me back up. Okay. What do I know about 2 fourths compared to 2 sixths? I have these models here that help me, but if I didn't have the models here, I could also kind of think about, what do I know about force? What do I know about 6? Well, I know that fourths are bigger pieces. So if I have 2 fourths shaded, I'm going to have 2 bigger pieces than the other 2. So, no. Let me use my drawing tool. It's not wanting to work correctly. Disappearing. Let's try this again. Okay, 2 fourths. Okay. Compared to 2 sixths. Now I know that these fourths are bigger pieces, and I have 2 bigger pieces where 6 are smaller pieces. So my 2 bigger pieces are obviously going to be greater than my 2 smaller pieces. And I can prove that by looking at my model that I've drawn over here.